all this. Woo! Put Scooter on the phone, you bird brain.
What do you do, backflips? You jump up there in a silly suit? What do you do?
You go BAM! I want you to play that.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Fast Freddie back in action. We are here in the Youngstown studio in downtown Youngstown. Kind of a blustery day here today in downtown. Yesterday we had sunshine. We had blue skies. It looked perfect. I didn't even wear a sweatshirt, a hoodie, nothing. I had my jacket on, light jacket. I thought, okay, spring is here. I get outside today and I'm like, man, did I mess up? What the hell happened?
2.0.
Yeah, what the hell happened there? It was kind of crazy, but you know, it is March coming in like a lion, and hopefully it'll come out like a lamb.
Right. I'm hopeful.
And we could get the spring rolling. Everybody get your vaccines. Look, it's 31 degrees at 313. So we got 313-131.
Good number.
Yep. Keep that in mind, man.
Yeah.
313. That could be the lucky number today.
There you go.
Anyways, Joe Danier is here. Fast Freddie back in action. And thanks for the espresso, Joe. Joe has an espresso machine here that makes the perfect espresso. Last time I was here, that's all I was thinking about. I said, I got to get a cup of that. Man, you got the foam on there just right. It looks good. So cheers, everybody.
All right.
Warm up a little bit, and we're going to get right down to it. Not a whole lot going on, and I'll tell you why here in a second. That is so good. That is just so good. And it smells so good here in the studio when you start making that. I'm sure I'm going to have 2 of these today. I hope you know that, man, because these just taste so good. You know, I started out when I started doing this, I was drinking alcohol before every show. And then all of a sudden I had some of this. And it's like, wow, man, what the hell's going on
Ever
here?
since Viking made you that cocktail, it's been uppity almost every show.
Right, a gimlet. When I had a gimlet with Viking Jim. I thought Vike was going to stop down today, but I think Liverpool's playing somebody in soccer this afternoon, so he can't get away from the TV.
Yeah, the religion of football.
Oh, really? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Hey, I was jealous of your Jeep, and I finally I went out and bought a Jeep this weekend.
You did?
To pull behind the RV.
Oh, okay.
I freaking love it, man. It's so much different than any other car that I've owned.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun to drive. So, anyways, let's get right down to business.
Let's do it.
There's not a whole lot of like stupid criminals in the news and stuff, because now we went from Trump dominating everything on social media. Now it's the cancel culture dominating everything right now. And there's nothing to, if you could talk about that until you're blue in the face, but we don't go down that road. But that's like every story, whether it's Mr. Potato Head, it's Dr. Seuss, it's the Muppets, it's this, it's that, it's Coca-Cola. It's like, all right, stop already. Don't people realize that no matter what your cause is, if you keep ramming it down people's throats, they just get enough of it and you lose the impact?
That's it.
I think with the way Trump was always tweeting and everything, people just got tired of him after a while. It's like, stop. And now with this thing, every day, it's something that's offensive to somebody. We're going to cancel this. We're going to stop doing that. And I just think people are to the point where it wants to make your head explode. That's why we need shows like this to just completely stay away from that.
Right.
But the problem is you know, when I can't get my guests lined up, and we got a lot of great guests coming up here in the next few weeks. You know, I had those 3 really blockbuster shows, and then we kind of went into a little bit of a lull. And but we'll be back. We got a lot of great guests coming up on the horizon. I don't want to mention everybody, but we do have a lot of good guests coming up, and we'll be back in the groove. But anyways, with that being said, that's why there's not a lot of stupid criminals in the news right now. There's not a lot of other things going on. All the lighthearted stuff is getting, even all the memes and everything. It's either Dr. Seuss, it's Coke. So I want to stay away from that.
Have you tried this news feature on Facebook, by the way?
No.
All right. So what you could do is if somebody or something, a company is like irritating you a little bit, you could put them on a 30-day timeout where they will just disappear from your world for a period of time.
Oh.
It is like the biggest blessing in Facebook when I discovered that.
Now, is it just for businesses?
Anything that comes across. You can snooze ads, you can snooze people, you can snooze companies.
Really?
It's been amazing. So if someone irritates me, you're going away for 30 days.
I'm afraid I might go away for 30 days. You know, I'm usually right at about 5,000 people, you know, on my personal page. And then we have our Youngstown studio page. But it's like, the last couple of days, I've lost a few people. I don't know what it is.
What the heck? You're not controversial by any means. So where are they going?
The only thing I posted about was Dr. Seuss, but I don't know. Maybe some of the people didn't like the bands I was talking about or whatever. But
wow,
we picked up 3 more just like that.
You take that personal?
You know what? Some days I do because I think, okay, what did I do to piss you off, man? You know, I'm not out here. There's nothing controversial on my page. It's all about having fun. You know, maybe I'm not throwing enough bikini girls on there. Maybe I haven't had enough tattoo.
Well, I was only paying attention for the wet T-shirt contest, and you've been letting me down, man.
Well, you know what? I might be taking a couple days off next week because there's been a lot of rumblings about heading down to Daytona Bike Week.
Do it, man.
You know, there's been a lot of talk, and I would like to get down there. It all depends on my financial situation, but I always got a ton of places to stay, and I don't know.
How long do you give yourself to make it down there? Are you like a 2-stop day or 2-day trip, or is it a 1-day bonsai run?
I could do 1 day.
1 day,
but not on the bike.
Okay.
Not on the bike. And I don't know if I'm going to go on the bike. Oh, you pussy. But see, I got to be back by St. Patty's Day. I got a St. Patty's Day party, and I got some other things I got to do. I don't want to be away from the podcast too long. But I'm even thinking about maybe just flying down there because you could fly down there. I know this is the pussy way out or whatever. Flew down. But I mean, to go have a little bit of fun, it might not be a bad idea. You could probably fly down there round trip for $100. So it's almost like, why not?
That's right.
Why not? So I got to see. I don't know. Everything's just up in the air.
You just lost 5 more friends on Facebook because you're a pussy that flies.
Well, the last time I was down there, it was so cold that this was the truth. They didn't do any wet T-shirt contest. And at some of the bars like Froggy's, where they have all the dancing girls, they were wearing sweatpants and hoodies. They weren't even, no skin.
Yeah.
It was
this time of year, you might get winter, you might get summer.
Oh, yeah. I've been down there when it was like, 90 degrees, beautiful weather. And then other times I was down there and
fresh your ass off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rainy, cold, and
It could happen either way. But from what I've seen so far, it's looking pretty good. Okay, Lori Mercer's heading down there right now. I know Mary's down in Florida, and I'm sure she'll be heading up to Bike Week. My buddy John checking in. Ron Potesta, how you doing? Richard Valpini, cool. Randy Freeze checking in. My buddy Glenn. Patricia Reynolds, how you doing, Patty? Keith Sturgeon says, I hope you can swing it, man. I would love to. Jerry Wade says, think spring. You got it, Jerry. And it's just Renee Mass checking in. Mary Smith, how are you, Mary? Todd Ceramelli, everybody checking in here today. Justin Rentz, I'll be seeing Justin's grandfather coming up pretty soon. Grant Dawson checking in. Jimmy Pollock. Faye Somo, how are you, Faye? Okay, everybody, a lot of people checking in here this afternoon. Good to see you all. Hopefully we'll keep you around here for a little bit, keep you entertained for a little bit. That's probably one thing I should talk about. This weekend, I will be at the Hunting and Fishing Super Show and Sale at the not at the Eastwood Expo Center, Metroplex in Liberty. And we got a lot of good stuff coming up for that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some of the seminars on Friday are coyote hunting, which is kind of a big thing right now because coyotes are a problem, especially for people who live out on these farms and stuff. Yeah. Coyotes are just like the scavenger of scavengers. They have no useful purpose whatsoever, and they'll eat your dog or cat right off your back porch.
I watched one pull a dog away and just slunk off into the woods with it.
I was talking to this Tom Bechtel, who does the seminars with these, and he said that they were doing like some kind of work on like in a sewer line in Erie, Pennsylvania, in the city. And it was like one of those drainage ditches or one of those drainage tunnels. And when they went in there, it turned out there was a coyote den in there, and they found 60 leashes with dogs and collars and leashes. And they were just swarming this neighborhood, eating up all the dogs and cats. Wow. But yeah, they're just useless, and they just eat and multiply. That's all they do.
Yep. And there's a ton of them now. You would not be surprised. Even in the cities, there's a ton of them.
It's getting crazy. Yep. Then also on Friday, we got a crappie fishing seminar. Amy Boo is going to be there talking about Bigfoot. Now, I got to tell you, out of all the things that go on out there, I don't think Bigfoot is one of them. I think we would have discovered Bigfoot by now. I think there could be space aliens. I think there could be ghosts, all that kind of stuff I could see. But come on, why haven't we?
I've always wanted to mess with people and stage a couple of those to see if I could get people to report it to the newspaper.
Yeah. But why has there never been a Bigfoot body found anywhere? Why has there never even been a Bigfoot roadkill? You mean to tell me that out of everywhere out there that there's never been one hit by a truck?
I saw Harry and the Hendersons. It could happen, man.
I know, right? Exactly. Then on Saturday, crappie fishing, walleye, bass fishing, so the whole 9 yards. If you want to save on some fishing gear, come on out and join us. I'll see you at the Metroplex Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I always enjoy going out there for that.
And if anybody wants to call during the program, let me give you the number out, 330-595-1600. All program long, you can use that line, and I will patch you into the show, and we can talk to Freddie here on the show.
Oh, okay. Do we really want to do that?
Maybe. I'll flirt with it.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. But so I would definitely like to go down to Bike Week, though. I always have a good time. I remember the one time I went down there, and it was the winter. We remember we were in that huge deep freeze, and I think it was like below zero for a week or whatever, maybe even longer. This had to be maybe 4 years ago. I don't know. I have no concept of time. It's all a blur to me. But it was that one year we had that complete deep freeze, 0 degrees, and I go down there. And in the afternoon, I get on the bike, in the morning, it's like 70-some degrees. I'm like, yeah, summertime, Yeah. And all the people from the cold weather states were just digging it, man. Everybody from like Massachusetts and Canada and all these other places, and everybody's down there just go, yeah, summertime. So I take a ride up A1A to St. Augustine, and it's, going along the ocean. It's just like, oh, yeah, easy rider, and it was just so nice out. I cut off sleeves or whatever. On the way back, it was so freezing cold, I couldn't believe it. The sun started going down a little bit, and that breeze was coming off the ocean. Like, I have icicles hanging off of me practicing. What happened here?
Yep. That'll ruin your ride.
But it was crazy. But it would be nice to get down there. Hey, Tyler Woke checking in. How you doing, Tyler? Boy, did he kill the crappies again. Ice fishing is officially over now. Boy, the ice went in like boom.
Yeah, it was like 12 inches one day and then too thin to do anything on the next.
Yeah, but Tyler, man, he tore them up. He was out there all winter long. He was finding places in the mountains of Pennsylvania to ice fish way when there was no ice anywhere else. And we definitely got a freezer full of crappies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Can't wait to start frying them up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be on Casey Malone's show, on her TV show coming up on Saturday. I think it's on Channel 21,
Doing
7
fish?
o'clock. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got with Rick Henniger.
Yes.
Well, she went ice fishing with Rick Henniger. And, boy, they brought some walleyes back, and they brought some crappies. And I had a chance just to come and eat. It was beautiful.
How do you hook up those things or you show up to eat?
But I didn't want to seem like a glutton because there's other people there, There's other people, and I didn't really want to seem like a glutton. But once I start eating those fried crappies and that fried walleye, I cannot stop. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get on this diet, and I've had very little success. But once I start frying those and once I start eating them, I can't stop. And my family wants to have fish fry. Fish fry, come on, where's the fish fry? And I mean, we got a freezer full right now. And it's like fish fry. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to start this diet. Yeah. One of these years, I'm going to get on it. And my problem is, if I do that, I'm just going to eat like until I explode. And
what if I teach you how to do the frying into something that's not going to make you feel sick? Like if I give you something, if I give you a recipe or show you how to do this, would you try it? Would you do it?
You know what? For what, to fry the crappie in?
Well, you fry it, and then it's healthy for you instead of the crap that makes you feel like shit.
I think the whole idea is I don't think I could eat crappie other than breading them and deep frying them. I think that it's perfect. And that's another thing for people that have air fryers. Do not ever use an air fryer for fresh fish. I mean, there's some stuff that it works good on, but don't put fresh fish in there. It just doesn't do it. It does not do it. I tried it just to experiment, and it's like, what the heck is this? You know, you could throw some wings in there. Sometimes those go good, or, you know, if you're doing like any of the frozen stuff, if you want to put fish sticks in there, have at it. But if you're going to have like, you know, fresh walleye fillets or all these, you know, crappie, I would think about it, but it's too much of an experience for me.
I eat tons of fish. I mean, I love fatty fish like salmon, whitefish.
Right, me too.
And I have a batter, and it's not the same. I mean, it's close, but it's not the same. But I want you to try it just to see if it could be like
okay, yeah,
all right,
devil's advocate or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I'll throw a couple in there and see how it goes.
We'll do a taste testing and see if you think you could eat a whole meal of that.
Okay, all right. But I'll tell you what, if they ever had like a fish eating contest, I would win hands down. I would win hands down. I could eat some fish. Any
fish, doesn't matter what it is. Fish is for you.
Pretty much not. Nope. I just had fish sticks the other day. Go figure this out. We got this whole freezer full of crappies and walleyes,
and
I'm having fish sticks. You know,
fisherman's friend.
Goran's fish
there
sticks.
He is.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, fish sticks, but I love them. Yeah, Patty's talking about Lake Erie perch. That's another good one. My buddy Paul Maverick is checking in. Greek is watching out in California. Good to see him. Boy, did we have some wild times back in the day there, man. I still got, that's another place. See, I got to get out and see Greek out there. He's out in San Jose. He says that's like one of the nicest places in the world you want to be.
Well, we're in the summer. We're going to take a trip out there. We were going to do it sooner, but everything's closed down. It would be awful to try to stop at a place and it be, you know what I mean, down for COVID.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think by the middle of summer, I think everything's going to be up and running.
I'm with you.
As a matter of fact, I just saw an article today, and I was going to bring it up about they're calling this year the year of the road trip. They seem to feel that a lot of people are going to be taking road trips this year. Some people aren't really ready to get back on the planes and all that sort of thing, but they say that they think that a lot of people are going to be planning road trips this year. They say that's going to be a big thing. Even with the price of gas going up, they say that it looks like road trips are going to be a big thing this summer.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Like, it used to be that if you rolled into a town, you could find like a spot to park your RV in a state park. Everything is booked out through like September of this year. You can't find anything anywhere.
Well, that's good though.
Yep.
I think that's one thing with this pandemic. It took a lot more people outdoors though this past summer because everybody wanted a social distance, and social distancing is probably the way to, outdoors is social distancing. I know all my charter boat captain friends, they all had a massive summer because people still wanted to go do stuff. Canoes sold really good and kayaks this past summer. A lot of people were out walking and going to places like, Nelson Ledges and Mill Creek Park. A lot of people got into hiking, bicycling, motorcycling, all those outdoor activities. And I think it's going to carry over into this year. I think people want to get outside, and I think if the COVID did anything, it was getting people to get outside,
get moving
and just enjoy the park. I know that happened to me because once I started walking, and I started going to Mill Creek Park. I haven't been to Mill Creek Park in ages, but this past summer I had nothing to do, and I start walking, and I was like, wow, is this nice? I forgot how nice it was. And then it just became a habit. And then Christmas came and everything else and Thanksgiving. And then I just started stuffing myself like a madman.
But the sun will come back out and I'll find you back in Mill Creek Park living it up again.
Mill Creek Park, Nelson Ledges, the bike trail.
Yeah, and when you're going through the park and you use it like a shortcut, it doesn't feel big. But when you're walking it, that shit's huge. I mean, it's big.
Yeah, that was probably one of the highlights of my summer. Hey, got to say hi to Craig checking in Jackson Center, Pennsylvania. Steve Ruman checking in. Steve is anxiously awaiting the grand opening of Rallies in Niles. That's what we're all waiting for.
Why do we do that? Why do we always do that?
We want rallies. We want rallies.
Cars lined up around the block every time.
That's what we're waiting on. We want rallies. We want rally. Put on my rally hat.
the rally hat. Well done.
Right.
Well done.
So that's what we're all looking forward to. The hunting and fishing show and the grand opening of rallies, and life is going to be beautiful from there.
Do you own a boat? Have you ever owned a boat?
No, my son has a boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So when you need to go out, you just take his. But have you ever personally had to take care of one? And
no.
I've heard so many horror stories. All of my family would own them at one time or another.
Some people say that. Some people say, what's a boat? A boat's a hole in the water that you pour money into. And other people say the two best days of your life is when you buy your boat and when you sell it. But my son is just too into it, so he's
he uses it every other freaking day.
Right.
He's the exception.
Yeah. He's like one of those people that are just like, I think when you get some of these folks that they think it's a good idea. And there's probably people feel the same way about motorhomes, motorcycles, whatever. I mean, when you have a hobby like that, if you're not all in, it's going to be like a money pit and a pain in the ass. Right. But if you enjoy
They all are.
That's why they make that stuff.
Yes.
You know? With motorcycles, you're always buying tires or this or that.
Or gear.
Or you want to customize it. You want a different exhaust. You want this. You want that. You want a different seat. You want a different radio. You want a sound system. Oh, I want to paint it. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like with any hobby.
That's right.
You know, and if you're into it, if you're a diehard, like these guys that are into racing. I mean, they go out there every weekend and they're wrenching on the cars and stuff. But if they like it and you like it and it's your thing, then it's not like a big hassle at all. You're like, man, this is worth every penny.
You know, my favorites are the race car drivers. Like, they will dump in $20,000 in a race car to win $50 prize if they win. That's my favorite. Those guys are hardcore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to love that. Yeah, okay. Steve Ruman says there hasn't been a Fast Freddie spotting on the Niles Bike Trail in a while. Yeah, I got to get back out there. I got to get out there. Everybody's getting ready for the Boom Burger. Is that the big thing at rallies? The Boom Burger. I got to get their fish sandwich. You know, I got to get a fish sandwich.
Fish? Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Nice.
They probably got some kind of big fish sandwich.
Everything that causes a heart attack, Rallies has.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Keith Sturgeon says, you know what BOAT stands for? BOAT. Bust out another 1,000.
Yeah, for sure.
There's probably something for bike in there too. Hey, Brian, what's happening, man? I know Brian's getting ready for the riding season. Bubba, how you doing today, man? Good to see you. My buddy Bubba, you know, he works security at a lot of the clubs and works for the bands. And it seems like things are really starting to open up now. I think we're finally getting back on track. I know the Ice House, this week we're getting back to bands. Saturday night we got 7% Superstar this Saturday, Blue Siren the following week, Haymaker, and then the Huck and Philbillies. So to get things rolling, you still got to keep social distance though. But
no curfew now. So
no curfew. Amazing. But you know what? The curfew, I'm still on the fence about the curfew. I don't think the curfew is what was hurting business, because people just aren't out that late anymore. And I think we're going to see a shift, and I think it's going to be a permanent shift, that people are going to come out to see bands at 8 o'clock and be home by midnight.
Yep.
Even 7 o'clock some places. And I think that's how it's going to be. I don't think people are coming out at 10 o'clock and staying out until 2 anymore. I think this whole year is transition people. And the one thing I'm worried about is, are people going to be staying home more because they're in that mood now? Have people got too comfortable, and are they like, oh, I'm just going to call out for some food. I don't want to put my shoes on.
Yeah.
Oh, this couch is sure comfortable, you know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got beer right there in the fridge.
See, I think there's so much pent-up demand that people are going to be clamoring to get out there and see bands again.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
At least that's my hope. And I know the places that have been doing bands recently have all been pretty crowded. Yep. There's people that want to get out, just as long as we don't all get sick again. You know, if everybody's just a little bit patient and, you know, get those vaccines, or do what you're going to do, and then, you know, we've waited this long.
Sure.
It's been exactly 1 year, almost 1 year to the date. St. Patty's Day is when we shut everything down last year. And now it seems like it's kind of coming back. So, you know, I think the worst is behind us. I really do. I think the worst is behind us, and I think we're going to get on track. And I think maybe 4th of July will be the big celebration. Freedom!
Yes.
Yay! We'll be celebrating freedom on 4th of July. It would be nice. But I see some good things coming. All right, let's see here. What do I have? Oh, somebody posted this. Cornell Bogdan from Tangled Up in Blues posted this. These were the blues-related bands that played at the Tomorrow Club in downtown Youngstown on the Federal Plaza between 1974 and 1978. And these were the blues guys. Rory Gallagher, who would have been, I forget how old he would have been, but his birthday was just a couple of days ago, but he's been gone for a while. Johnny Winter, Muddy Waters, Pat Travers with Boom Boom Out Goes the Light. I remember that one. Southside Johnny and the Jukes, Edgar Winter, AC/DC, Rick Derringer, Roy Buchanan. He was another blues guy that was just phenomenal. Savoy Brown, Taj Mahal, Freddie King, Ike and Tina Turner, and Freddie King. And Freddie King's the guy they sing about in We're an American Band. Up All Night with Fred King. I got to tell you, the poker's his game. But I was looking at that schedule, and it's like, man, and that's just like the blues guys that were there for like over a 4-year period. It's crazy. And a lot of younger people responded to that because they look at these lists now and they go, damn, that happened in downtown Youngstown. This was in our backyard. You know, some people, man, if I was only 10 years older. I actually wish they were 10 years older. But speaking of Ike Turner, I saw one today that they believe that a lot of people think that the song Rocket 88 was really like the first real rock and roll song, and that was celebrating a birthday today. I think it was 70 years old, and they say that song came out in, I think, what would that be, 1952, 51?
Yes,
and this was before Chuck Berry and a lot of those guys, but there's a few other songs that some people argue were before that, but that's one of the, you could say one of the first rock and roll songs. If you want to look it up, it's a cool tune, Rocket 88, and that was Ike Turner and his band, and it was shortly thereafter that Ike popularized the strong pimp hand. He developed that several years after. But yeah, can you imagine Ike and Tina Turner in downtown Youngstown? And I think they might have played earlier at the Elms Ballroom too at some point, or at the Greens. But yeah, Ike and Tina Turner. She still looks good. She's like about 80 years old. She's got like some 40-year-old dude, and she's still going strong.
I know how some people do that. They don't age.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, bring back Bond. Jeff is right, man. That was a crazy show, though, when AC/DC played there at the Tomorrow Club. I talk about it all the time, so I don't really want to sound like a broken record. Also, this week, Rush's first album celebrated its 47th birthday. And there's another band at that time. They played in downtown Youngstown when this album first come out. And most people know the story of Rush. You know, they were from Toronto, and they first played their records in the United States at WMMS. And then people in Northeast Ohio just gravitated to them, and just like they just took off after that. But Rush really has a lot of, ties to Northeast Ohio and playing downtown. And that's when their first drummer was John Rutsey, and he had problems with sugar and some other things, and he couldn't tour anymore. And then that's when they got Neil Peart. And Neil's first show ever with Rush was in Pittsburgh, and I think they opened up for Uriah Heep, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those big things. I think they played for 20 minutes, and I just love the history of bands on how, these guys started, playing in Youngstown or playing in these bars, and then they just move up, and then boom, before you know it, they're the biggest thing in the world. It's just crazy on how I just really enjoy those kind of stories, or just to look at it and say, and that's always been a big thing for a lot of music fans, is to find out a band before
they make it.
That's my band from day one. And then it'll be like Metallica, and then they'll come out with the Black Album, and all of a sudden your little sister likes them, and now you're pissed. Yep. So you automatically hate that album because it made your little sister also like what was like my sound, man, my band. And that happens to a lot of bands with different things, and all of a sudden you think they're your band and you want to keep it that way, and then all of a sudden they do something, and then everybody likes them, and and it's not cool anymore to like them because everybody likes them.
Metallica Fuel cuts hair. Done.
Although I like Fuel. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that's what I desire. I love that song. That's, you know, some people don't like that kind of Metallica, but I think Master of Puppets might be celebrating a birthday today too. I thought I saw somewhere, or at least this past week. That's another good album though. I'll tell you, I saw Metallica in concert a couple times. They say what you want about them. You know, you have so many, everybody and their brother's a music critic, but I'll tell you, the last time I saw them, the last couple times I saw them, they were just so freaking good. They were that good.
Yeah, I agree.
They were really that good. The one year we saw them New Year's Day for the new millennium, 2000, Gund Arena or whatever it's called now, Rocket Field House, whatever it is, Q, you pick a name. And we went to see him there, and it was New Year's Day for the new millennium. And nobody knew it was going to happen, but the party bus rolled, and we all made it. And I remember Viking Jim pissing his pants on the bus.
Out of excitement or out of libations?
I'm not really quite sure. If he would have stopped by today, I would have asked
let's ask him about that. See if he was having a bladder problem or he was having a drinking problem.
Or were you just too excited? Were you that excited that Metallica was playing that you pissed yourself? But that was an awesome show, and I think they played in the round. They did play in the round. The stage was in the round, and the stage was rotating, and those guys were all over that stage, and there was never any feedback or anything. I'm thinking, boy, how did they get that sound to sound perfect like that? Where like 1 minute you're over here in this part of the circle and the stage is revolving, and then you're over there, but there was never any feedback or anything, and they're just playing and they're roaming around the stage, and it was crazy.
That's awesome.
And Kid Rock opened for them. And I'll never forget this, because a lot of people at that time, especially the older folks, you know, they were going to see Metallica, and they thought Kid Rock was like just a rapper. You know, they heard Ball with the Bar, or the Cowboy, and that's all they thought. Oh, he's some rapper, rock rapper. I don't want to hear him. And he come out and he did a really good job. I know some people don't like Kid Rock, but he did a really good job. And then when he played Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama, and they dropped the rebel flag down when it was still okay to drop the rebel flag down, and they do Sweet Home Alabama, and some of these people that had any doubts about Kid Rock immediately became fans.
Right.
It was like, yeah, Skinner! You know, and it's just like, yeah, Skinner! Kid Rock, no Skinner! I love him! You know, but that was a good time. That was a good time. Hey, Marlo's checking in. Hi, Marlo. How are you doing? My buddy Bill checking in. I know everybody's just getting ready for the outdoors. All the bike night people. Hey, Lisa, how are you doing? Lisa Klauser checking in. Jeff Buzzard said there's never anybody in the ladies' room at Rush shows. That's true. If you're looking to pick up women, you ain't gonna find them at Rush.
No.
I thought I was going to find them at Lilith Fair. There was a lot of them there, but they weren't too interested in me.
A lot of pixie cuts.
And mullets. A lot of mullets. And let's see. We want to send not condolences, but good wishes to Michael Stanley. I saw that Michael's family posted online that he's dealing with some serious health issues, and you know, he's had a quadruple bypass and he battled prostate cancer. So we just hope Michael gets better.
Yeah, for
you know, he's a fighter though, but they're not really saying what's wrong with him. They want to keep it private. They ask for some privacy, but you know, you just hate to hear that kind of stuff. Now there's a guy, Michael Stanley. The Michael Stanley band is kind of like the Youngstown house band. If you were around, 70 from maybe 76 to 80, whatever. I mean, Michael Stanley was just endeared to Northeast Ohio. And as we hear from a lot of these different bands and artists that come in that were like flirting with the big time, it's like all these crazy things happen with like record deals and people get fired and this promotion guy is out and all of a sudden the music trends change and they want this guy that sounds like Nirvana, and it's crazy on how that happens. You could be going along pretty good and think you got something, and then boom. Oh, we're not signing those kind of bands because they see somebody else sign this other band that everybody likes. And now it's like, oh, we got to get a new wave band. People love the Flock of Seagulls. You don't look like the Flock of Seagulls. Now we're looking for bands that look like Flock of Seagulls. Things like that. Aha, that's what we're looking for now. And it just goes like that. And or the people that were behind you, were promoting you, or the people that signed you to the label, all of a sudden, 2 years later, in the middle of your project, they get fired, and then you're just like, okay, well, we want nothing to do with you. We fired your guy, so you're kind of out. So that's what I think really happened with Michael Stanley. You saw it with Left End. You saw it with our buddies from Law. It just, I'll tell you though, Michael Stanley hit it pretty big. I mean, he had some strongholds in different places, and I think he was as good as any of those other bands at the time. I'd put him right up there with like an REO Speedwagon or Eddie Money or anybody of that caliber. I think he'd hold his own with any of those bands. But Michael Stanley got started, and I have followed him from like every like configuration of the Michael Stanley band, whether it started with his first album, and then he was more like kind of mellow acoustic, but let's get the show on the road and that kind of stuff. And he had David Sanborn, I think, play a couple of cuts on his records, and Joe Walsh was on a few. And then they went into like the Lady's Choice, You Break It, You Bought It. And then they come out with Stage Pass, which was his live album, and that was really starting to get some momentum for him. And then he went to the Heartland album, When He Can't Love You, which is kind of funny because one of his biggest songs he didn't even sing.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
The biggest song that he had, He Can't Love You, is sung by Kevin Raleigh. And I just think that it's kind of funny that you work all this time and the biggest song
break.
your band has, it's somebody else singing your song. But and then of course they went through all those big sellouts, string of sellouts. I think they still hold the record for the most sellouts at Blossom Music Center in a row. I mean, when he was peaking like that, it was just like everybody was there. But I saw him from every little size club that you could see him at. All the way up to Blossom Music Center, and
100 people to 10,000 people.
Yes, some of the little small places he played around Kent State and that sort of thing. And then, but then it also went up. And then I've seen him like with his side project called the Midlife Chryslers, and they played it like the Dash In. And of course, he played at all our Rib Burn-Offs. And it's always been Donnie Iris, Michael Stanley is always a surefire to draw people. Right. If you get the best of Pittsburgh, the best of Cleveland, you get those two guys, and it's going to be packed. Yeah. And I remember seeing him at Struthers Field House, with the band, and then they played at YSU, and Gary Markowski fell off stage and busted some ribs at that show. I just wish Michael a speedy recovery, because if you were around in that time of the heyday of the Michael Stanley Band, I think his music really means a lot to people in the Youngstown area. And of course, his mom was from East Palestine. 3 members of his band were from the Youngstown area. So he's just like Mr. Youngstown. And he wrote his biggest song, I would say his biggest song, not like He Can't Love You, which was maybe his biggest charting song, but like Lover, he wrote that song from after a show at the Tomorrow Club, riding back to Cleveland in a snowstorm. And, that's why snow's
cool
as thick as thieves. And thank God for the man who put the white lines on the highway and stuff. That is just such a Northeast Ohio. That is just such a Northeast Ohio band, and that it's just such a Northeast Ohio song. Let's see. Yeah, Keith wants to know whatever happened to Wild Horses from Cleveland. I'm not sure. They had that song out, Funky, Funky, Funky Poodle. Boy, there were so many great bands back in the day. But
your story, we love an underdog story here in Youngstown. We will get behind our local boys and just cheer them all the way to whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else did I have here today? I had some other music news I wanted to get to here today. Oh, here's one. I saw this one online today. It says, today is National I Don't Feel Like Doing Shit Day. Celebrate accordingly. Actually, I thought it was all year. I didn't know we were keeping this at one day. I thought this was the year of I don't feel like doing shit.
Nice.
And I have been celebrating accordingly.
I can get behind that one.
Oh, yeah. That's yeah. See, people are worried about Mr. Potato Head. People are worried about Dr. Seuss. I got bigger fish to fry right there. Today is National I Don't Feel Like Doing Shit Day. Celebrate accordingly.
It's official.
It's the year of. It's the year of.
The year of the sloth.
That's it. Hey, my buddy Carl Galatario, he's checking in, talking about Left End. See, that's one of the things that I always say, like on our shows, you always have to talk about Left End, the Tomorrow Club, Boots Bell, a few other things. If you're from the South Side, we got to mention Margie's Pizza and the Hollywood Tavern. there are certain things that we have to cover.
You check the box off. Right. Now we can.
Yeah, this show is highly formulated. We do have a format to this show.
Deanna from Facebook says, you amaze me with how much you know, Freddie. Michael Stanley Band has quite the music history, Cleveland and beyond. Lots of road trips for sure. Steve Jocham from Wild Horse is still playing wherever he can.
Oh, okay. And Dina, we had her on. She has 3 books out about Cleveland rock, and right. I think Michael Stanley wrote the foreword to one of her books, and we got to get her back on too. She's very knowledgeable too. Let's see here. Steve Ruman, Freddie, what are your thoughts on the Raspberries? I love the Raspberries. The Raspberries, I just love that power pop sound that they have. You know, the Raspberries and Badfinger. There was a band called The Records that had that. Of course, locally Blue Ash. I just like that jangly guitar. Dun, dun, dun. And I had a chance to see the Raspberries at Hot Day. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Got to mention Idor Park on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
And Hot Day. If you don't.
And crappies. We got crappies.
Right. We do have to talk about crappie fishing, too. We do have a strict format that we follow here. No, I thought the Raspberries were awesome. And I could remember seeing them just on the Midway at Idor Park, and they just sounded fantastic. And I like I said, I just love that power pop sound. Like even Todd Rundgren got some of that power pop sound, the Replacements, and some of those other bands that just come out there. And I really like that sound. That's always been one of my favorite sounds. And boy, I can remember how good they sounded. And that was one of those things where everybody's just standing around the Midway, and they had a stage set up, and you know, you're standing right there. And they used to play the Freak Out, of course, all the time over on Midlothian back in the day. Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, you know, another thing that surprises me is like the Canfield Fair and the quality of acts that they pull out there. I mean, some kids today are going to be saying, I remember back at Canfield Fair, we saw blah.
Yeah,
they did a pretty good job.
Cheap Trick, I remember me and Casey Malone, I think we hosted the show with Cheap Trick out there. And yeah, well, they had Toby Keith out there. You know, I think that's pretty big.
I don't know if this is an actual memory. I had a dream about this, but I remember at a mall, Cheap Trick on the back of a semi-trailer playing. Was that a real thing?
Burnoff. Yeah,
was
it was a real
really?
thing.
All right.
Yeah. And Left End was there. Remember, you got to mention Left End. Left End was there that day. And I think Cheap Trick was kind of rude to Left End, if I remember correctly. Right. So, yeah, okay, they're off the list then. If you're not a friend of Left End, you're not a friend of mine.
You're a dick, you're out.
That's how we determine things around here.
We got loose rules here, but we got rules.
We do have rules. It may not seem like we do, but we do. as long as we get the Boots Bell mention, the Freak Out, the Tomorrow Club, Left End, you know, there's a few things that we have to get in all the time to make this show official.
Station managers all over his ass. He's got to come bring the standards up a little bit.
Yeah. What else we have in music news? I thought I had something else. I don't know. I see your boy Elon wrecked another spaceship.
Yeah, he did. Did you happen to see this thing?
No.
This was, okay, so this was the best version of it, because here's what happened. Like the one that you saw, went up in the air, floated down, and they actually landed it vertical. And it sat there for about 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And there was a little fire burning on the bottom part. And they were squirting it with the hose, and it kept getting bigger, and squirting it with the hose, and it kept getting bigger. And I think they gave up at a certain point. They were like, we're not making any progress. So they stopped the hose, and it went boom, millions of dollars of shrapnel.
Now you're a science nut, and I know you're a technology nut. Everybody knows that, and you really enjoy this. So to see this rocket ship just blow up millions of dollars, and he just shoots them up there, and they keep blowing up.
And he's like, "We got number 11 going." I'm like, "Wait, take your time, dude. Slow down."
So he's on number 11 to get this. Now, did they make progress though from the last one that blew up, and now
it didn't hit the ground? It actually stayed vertical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you watch when it was landing, they had these little stubby legs at the bottom, but they were like flapping. They weren't even solid, so it had a little lean when it hit the ground. So yeah, not perfect just yet, but better, a lot better.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's see. I had another one here that I thought this would interest you. I have so many notes here today. Oh, how about this? Petaluma, California has become the nation's first city to prohibit the building of new gas stations. He said no more gas stations. They passed a bill that would continue an existing 2-year moratorium indefinitely. They said there's enough stations within a 5-mile limit, and the bill would also make it easier for existing stations to add electric vehicle charging stations and other alternative fuel stations on their premises.
Yeah, they're getting hardcore about that, you know?
No more gas stations.
No.
We're just not going to build a gas station here anymore.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, like with electric cars, sometimes you get a little stress when there isn't a charging station? What if you had to drive 30 miles or 50 miles to get a regular gas station? That would suck.
Oh, it would be. You know, we're so used to gas stations like
every block.
You can't get. Just go to Boardman. I mean, how many gas stations are in Boardman?
Right.
I think I would like to take a picture of every gas station in Boardman and just make a little collage or something. There's got to be some kind of a funny meme or something with the gas stations in Boardman. We need more gas stations.
The funniest are when they're right across the street from one another, and they used to play those gas wars against one another when we were kids.
Right. Oh, let's see. It was 13 years ago this week that the music world lost Jeff Healey. Boy, he was a great artist. He had song Angel Eyes, of course, and he was in the movie Roadhouse. He was the guitar player in Roadhouse. Okay. That's a fun movie. Well, he was blind, and he had a unique way of playing his guitar. He like played it across his lap or whatever. He just had an interesting way of playing it. And when people would watch him play, they were just amazed at the way the guy would play his guitar. But he was a great talent. But that movie Roadhouse, I like when they always make fun of it on Family Guy. Peter Griffin, Roadhouse. And then he gets into a fight.
Yeah, all those 80s flicks, man. They're brutal with them.
Okay, yeah, here we were talking about Rory Gallagher. He was born March 2nd, 1948. He received his first guitar at the age of 9, taught himself how to play guitar. How about some of these people, though, that teach themselves? I still can't get over that. Like we had guys like Jerry Senefani in here and Mark DeVecchio, and they're just talking about how they have this ear and they can just listen to it and play it. I just think
my
that's
brain
so
doesn't
crazy.
work that way.
No, mine either. Mine either.
I wish it did, because that would be awesome.
And a lot of these people are so talented at a young age. Like this guy, he won a talent contest at the age of 12. And then next thing you know, he bought an electric guitar with the prize money. And next thing you know, man, I mean, the guy, you really have to have it, I think, from like day one. Either you have it or you don't.
Now, do you think musicians know how to read sheet music? Like a majority of them could like compose music that way?
Some do, some don't. I mean, there's some of them guys out there, they're big names, that would actually have somebody transpose the songs for them after they wrote them and recorded them.
And put them on a sheet.
They would have somebody sit down and transpose it. But yeah, Jeff Healey, great blues man. Rory Gallagher, another great blues man. Let's see. Oh, Lou Reed would have been 79 this week too. Boy, he was an eccentric cat there.
Yeah.
Lou Reed was out there. Walk on the Wild Side. Boy, I remember when that song come out. That song was, Walk on the Wild Side was just a crazy song for the times.
Yep.
He just captured that grit of old New York City, with the peep shows, and he just captured that whole vibe of, New York City in the days of CBGB, and just when it was just like a seedy armpit, and Times Square was like adult peep shows and live sex shows, and nothing like it is today. You didn't find the Disney store on Times Square.
Right.
There's some old school New Yorkers that still lament that, like, oh, look what they did at Times Square.
They commercialized it and ruined it.
Oh, yeah, where's all the transvestites at?
Right.
And they're talking about going back to like 1970. What else do we have here? A news reporter in San Francisco was robbed at gunpoint while conducting interviews about car break-ins in San Francisco. 4 men pulled up in a white luxury sedan, pulled a gun while the guy was on camera, and stole his cell phone.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Just doing his job, man.
Ben Roethlisberger signed a new contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure they had to rework it. I think after this last year, they saw Ben and they said, look, dude.
Yeah, but they'd be capped out if they kept that contract. It was huge.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And I think Ben knows where he stands, too.
Right.
I think he knows he doesn't have too much longer.
Yep.
And not to put down Ben. I mean, how could you knock the guy's career?
Yep.
I mean, there's other things you could knock him about, his escapades with women and that sort of thing. And, Raplesberger, Ben Raplesberger, and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, who knows? Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield said he saw a UFO down in Texas.
Oh, God. Please don't lose your mind, Mr. Mayfield. Please don't do it.
But the FAA said the lights were seen from Las Vegas were flares from military ranges. So it wasn't really a UFO.
Because that would be our luck, because we finally have our franchise quarterback and he starts seeing shit in the sky.
UFOs, yeah. I'd rather my quarterback seeing UFOs than getting out there and getting in trouble with the police and stuff.
Yeah. What do you think about J.J. Watt going to Arizona? That was a little weird thing.
Well, you know what, though? That's good. I think that guy is like one serious injury away. I mean, he's tough when he's tough, but when he gets hurt, he gets hurt. And he's, 32? I'd rather us get some younger guy, maybe even a top round draft pick or something.
I was more afraid he was going to end up at Pittsburgh than anything.
Yeah,
so I'm glad he's not.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
There's no big deal there. And I guess the Browns announced today they have no plans on trading Odell Beckham. So we'll see how that pans out. We'll see where that goes. How about this guy? Couples driving down the freeway in Florida, coming down I-95. A couch falls onto the roadway. They swerve to miss the couch, and I think they wreck their car. And then the guy gets a ticket for failure to control.
Wow.
He was trying to get out of the way of the couch, man.
Right.
And they end up giving him a ticket. I don't see how that works.
I hate I-95 in every state.
It's the worst. It is the worst. And sometimes you can get in traffic jams there for 2 hours and you don't know if it was a wreck or what, but you'll be sitting there and and all of a sudden you see nothing when you get up there.
Yeah, two lanes of hell.
I guess that's when you need to breaker, good buddy.
Right.
What's going on there?
I gotta get one of those.
You don't have a CB in there.
I don't.
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
I gotta get one.
You got that big RV, Gus the Bus, and you don't have a CD. A CB.
I do not.
Oh, that's what you're missing.
Breaker 19.
Yeah, what's your handle going to be? What's your handle going to be?
Forest. I got to get all the lingo down. I haven't done a CB since I was a kid.
I know. That was the original social media.
That's right.
CB radios, all the drugs that used to be sold over to CB radio, and who knows, the way things are going with like social media and stuff, maybe people might resort back to the CB radio.
Maybe it was useful.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was useful. I was explaining to my kid about like two concepts that almost every house used to have: an aerial antenna.
Yeah. When
you were to watch a show, you had to point the aerial, do a little dial, and go click, 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 click. And then we had a big CB mast on the top of our house too. So, but these kids, no way, that's foreign to them.
Yeah. And when you only got 3 channels and you were the remote control, the old man be sitting there, yeah, go put on channel 21. Hey, lower that TV a little bit. Somebody go lower that TV a little bit.
Indians are on. Put 43 on.
Yeah, I'll tell you, where we lived, we had the worst TV reception because we live right there, by Poland Avenue, which is like the lowest point of Youngstown, like right along the river. And then the highest point is right around Bennett's School and, up on top of the hill there, like, Shady Run up on the top of the hill. And we were in a bad position to get TV. Well, for so many years, we never had an antenna. We didn't have a fancy schmancy antenna. We had a bullseye in the rabbit ears, and if you get jiggled around and put some tinfoil on it or something, and hope you get something through the snow. But see, the bad part about it is because all the TV towers were on the top of the hill, and then they have what's called a shadow where, the TV tower is straight up, and then it comes down to an angle.
That you were in the shadow.
So we were in the shadow.
That sucks.
So we couldn't get channel 27 or 33 all that clear until they built bigger towers.
And it was right on top of you.
Yeah. I mean, it was like right up the street. Now, channel 21, we could see the tower was like in our front yard. But I'll tell you what's cool about that is when it would storm and you would see that tower get hit by lightning and you watch the sparks go all the way down the guide wires.
Yep.
Oh, is that cool, man? I mean, that was something. Or if you would stand underneath it and look straight up, you would actually get dizzy. It would almost feel like you could see the world spinning.
Yeah, and it would wiggle. That thing wasn't sitting up there straight and tall. It was like...
And if you would just go stand underneath that and just look straight up, you would get dizzy because you'd be like going, oh, okay, I can see the world is spinning.
Hit a little LSD, look up at the sky, see the tower.
And towards the, when things would start thawing out, big chunks of snow would fall off of there and they would blow down, and it was kind of crazy. And like I said, we got channel 21 in perfect, but until they built bigger towers for 27 and 33, it wasn't that easy for the Woke family on Woke Mountain at the base of Woke Mountain.
You had to go outside and play or something.
But yeah, that was kind of crazy. But then, we'd still watch these shows through the snow. Big Time Wrestling on channel 61 and Goularty and the Ghoul, and channel 23 and Erie Akron would come in sometimes. Yeah, those were the good old days there, man.
What channel used to play Big Chuck and Little John? Was that 43 or was that 61?
I think it was 61, and I think channel 8 had them on too. Hey, can we have another espresso?
Absolutely.
I'm not having heart palpitations yet.
All right, we got to get
I'm not sweating. I'm not jittery enough. I seem to, I'm not slurring my words. I'm not talking a million miles an hour here yet. Oh, boy. Yeah, so that's what's going on here. Here's an interesting ad I found in the paper. This was posted, I think it was 40 years ago. 40 years ago this week, maybe. On this date in 1954, the Upside Down Girl was at the Park Burlesque in Youngstown, which used to be right around the corner from our studio here. According to the historian The Vindicator, many of her routines were performed on her hands. Her name was the Platinum Doll, Mickey Jones. And there she is. She was the Upside Down Girl and did her whole burlesque act upside down. Now, that would have been a good one to see. Everybody remembers Busty Russell, from the Park Burlesque, because she was the queen of burlesque back in the day.
Tassels, the tassels.
Yeah, right. The tassels, the pasties, and the whole 9 yards at the good old Park Burlesque. Also appearing with the Platinum Doll, Mickey Jones, the Upside Down Girl, was Luscious Donna V, Petite Amber Perry, Curvaceous Orna, and the Dynamic Tamara. And they had midnight jamborees on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The midnight jamboree at the Park Burlesque. There you go. That place was something. And they were always getting busted by the Vice Squad back in the day. Everybody used to go there, though. But they would also get busted a lot. The Park Burlesque, the Upside Down Girl. Where are these people nowadays? Where is Mickey Jones? I tried to find a picture of Mickey Jones, the upside down girl, but I couldn't find too many pictures of her. There's not a whole lot about Busty Russell out there either, considering as popular as she was. And you know what was the thing about it, though? When these women had these big breasts back in the day, they were all natural. These were before breast implants and breast augmentations and everything. When they were down there, they were the real deal. They were the real deal. But yeah, there you go. National the upside down girl. How about this one? You're not planning on going to China soon, are you?
Nope.
Here's a reason why not to go. China has made anal COVID-19 swabs mandatory for all foreign visitors arriving in the country.
That sounds punitive. It sounds like they're doing that on purpose.
I think they're saying stay the hell away.
And it's the size of a pool cue.
Yeah, wait till you see this Q-tip. Some people say, oh, it hurt when I got that thing shoved up my nose for a COVID test. Yeah? Wait until you see this one, kids.
Negan's back.
They said that they believe that the test shows COVID better because it lives longer in fecal matter or whatever. Yeah, welcome to China.
Yep.
I guess Japan was really pissed about that because a lot of people from Japan have been going to China and they've been getting the old swab up the ass and they're like not happy about it. But then again, there might be some people that like it. You know, this might be some people that go through line 3 or 4 times. Speaking of customs and stuff, I found a new show that I kind of like. Hey, John Rook. Jeff Buzzard said, I learned to play guitar mostly on my own, but I did take lessons from Mr. Delovey, I believe it is, at Sheridan School. Some kid in that class showed me how to play Iron Man. So I played it for the teacher, and he says, I don't want that crap in my class, and he kicked me out. He kicked the other kid out, too, because he had a Gibson SG and plugged it in. I don't see that. Back in the day, I think if you really... man, that might have been my problem when I took music lessons. I don't think I had the right teacher. And I think if they would have started teaching me how to play a few songs, that maybe I would have stuck with it. But, you know, when you're just sitting there, ding, 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 ding. You know, I wanted to play, you know, Elton John or whatever songs were on the radio. Right. You know, come on, man, let me rock this piano. Show me how to play a song instead of the classical way. And I think that's what happens is, you know, but you know what? I think music lessons are altogether different now, because back in the day, there were some parents that were like, put that goddamn guitar down. And nowadays it's like, they want their kid to be the next whoever, you know, we want you to be the next Aerosmith without the drugs. Yep. Right. Well, it takes away from all the fun, Dad, you know, but it's not like, yeah, get your hair cut, put that darn guitar away and things like that. Nowadays, you know, parents are more, you know, they'll take them to Guitar Center and buy them a new amp or whatever. Right. But yeah, back in the day, you would still get this, you know, like cut your hair and we don't need that guitar and turn it down. And now it's a whole different thing than it used to be. But so yeah. I'm curious, those who teach themselves, if it's like just you hear a song and try to replicate it and try to find the notes on your own, or like tabs, if you buy like a sheet of tabs and just play through them. All of the above. You think so? All of the above. Hey, Pat Palumbo checking in. How you doing, Pat, from Left End? Always good to see Pat. And if you didn't get a copy of Pat's book yet, Tenacity, The Left End Story, you got to get it. You'll enjoy it. It's a good one. And they mentioned me in there, so that in itself instant fame. My problem was after all these years, I didn't have one picture with Left Ender. I could have got my picture in the book, but with Dennis T or Patsy or any of those guys, man, I can't believe that I didn't. I don't know why. You would think that I would, being such fan from day one, that I would have, and. I never had a picture taken with Jim Trafficking either. That's another one. I always wanted to get a picture of Jim Trafficking. I was like, all these years I've worked with this guy and did this and did that and never posed. You're camera shy. That's what it is. Yeah, maybe back then. But you know what it was kind of like back then? It almost seemed like you were there working, so you didn't think about getting a picture. Now you're thinking, you go, oh. But those guys were all covered by the media like crazy. You think you'd accidentally get in one of them or two. Yeah, you would think, but it didn't quite work that way. Another cup of espresso. Look at that. I mean, what kind of espresso? We're the real deal here. Yeah. What kind of machine? It's a Nespresso.
An espresso machine.
An espresso. Yeah, that's the name of it. Name brand.
Nespresso.
Oh, okay. Wait, look at that. That thing that makes perfect.
It's good stuff too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it tastes so good too, man. Just the right amount of foam. Boy, is that good.
Youngstown Studio, real deal right here.
I know. I haven't drank on the show here lately.
There's Penguin City in there. Anytime you want, you call the ball.
What do we got here? I want the hard stuff. I like beer, but I like the hard stuff more. Candy is dandy, but liquor's quicker.
Now, would you take a whiskey or would you take some kind of like mixed something? What would be your preference?
Usually I'd pound a shot.
Okay. Get it over with. One and done.
Or maybe sip a little something on ice. But I'm a fan of the mixed drink too. The tropicals.
That coffee drink was off the hook, man. It was the best.
Yeah. You got to admit,
yes.
that is my. Jagermeister should give me some money for inventing that drink, or give us some shirts to give away or something. For sure. That is the best drink you get. They got this new stuff out there. It's called Jagermeister Cold Brew Coffee. And it has all the 57 herbs and spices and whatever else they put in there to make your mind go goofy that you expect from Jagermeister. Right. But it's got that coffee flavor. So it's got some coffee in there. And then you get a can of that Pabst Blue Ribbon chocolate, hard chocolate, whatever it's called, or hard coffee, hard coffee. So you put 2 shots of the Jaeger cold brew in there, and then you put a can of that Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee, and then you put a couple of shots of Bailey's in there, and then you get that what's the coffee place? Starbucks. You get the Starbucks Nitro unsweetened, and then you put that in there. Now, if you're a coffee lover,
it's the best.
Because you're looking at probably 4 shots and a can of like beer, and then you put the nitro in there to kick it up even more.
It was amazing.
Oh, it's great. And I can't wait for summer, because that is like, that's just really nice. Just like
it's an easy sip and drink. It really is.
It just goes down smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain drinks that, like, I don't know. It seems like sometimes on a summer day, especially if I'm out on the boat or whatever, I don't really feel like, sometimes it seems like I'm choking down a beer. It's like, it's almost a battle. You got to drink it fast or it's going to get warm. But sometimes, like, I'll tell you, a real good one is that Captain Morgan's 90 proof coconut rum and pineapple juice. You just pour that in a cooler. I mean, it's like you're just sipping.
See, you were made for Florida. You need to be on a beach all the time, man.
I should be a bartender at a tiki bar.
That's where you should be. You love that coconut.
I could be wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and I can get some kind of goofy braid in my beard, and maybe a couple of long earrings, and maybe just them little braids that those Jamaican ladies do. A couple of those with some.
Teach you some cocktail moves.
Yeah,
and
right.
You got it,
right.
man.
I've been, that would be me.
There's your retirement. That's your plan.
That's what we're gonna do, and we'll do the podcast from the tiki bar. We'll change it all around, a new format. That's Freddie's Tiki Bar, the Freaky Tiki, or we'll call it something like that.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll do something along those lines.
David Nar says it's so good to hear your voice again.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Cheers, man. This is missing booze, though. Now, I wonder what a shot of that cold brew would do to this. The Jagermeister cold brew with coffee espresso. Flavored. Oh, yeah.
We can experiment next time you got that stuff. We'll test it.
I got it. All right. Well, I tell you what, you keep that stuff in the freezer, too, and that bottle gets all nice and chilled, and it's covered in ice, and you're just sitting there, oh, man, it's so good.
Very romantic.
Yeah, but that Jaeger, though, man, Jaeger makes a lot of people crazy. There's something in Jaeger, those 57 spices they put in it. That
was the one alcohol my family warned me never to consume. They said you can drink anything you want, stay away from the Jaeger. So they must have had a bad experience. I think everybody has a bad experience.
For a while there, when Jaeger bombs were really popular, man. That's all you need. I wonder who invented the Jaeger bomb. I'd like to take credit as a guy who would get something like Jagermeister and pour it into something that is going to give you more energy and keep you up later. And it's usually the drunkenest asshole that you would hope would pass out first by just drinking it. Yeah, you would think that let's apply a lot of Jaeger in this guy so he gets drunk and passes out. But no, that's the guy we're going to put the Red Bull in and let him go.
Yeah, get his heart beating.
Yeah, that's who we want. All
no inhibitions. Go, buddy.
There should be a warning, or you have to take some kind of a test or something to drink Jaeger bombs. But yeah, they were really big there for a minute, and then Fireball was really big. I think Fireball kind of dropped off. Now it seems like White Claw is in,
They all have their moments. I mean, you get a celebrity to pound a couple of them. Goldschlager was one.
I would never drink Goldschlager. I think I drank that once and got sick, and I never drank it again. And I think another time I saw somebody drink Goldschlager and puked up those little gold things
flakes.
and stuff. And it's
So
like,
pretty.
never. I won't even try it. And then Schnapps was big there for a while. I remember when Peppermint Schnapps was the big thing.
Yep.
Everybody wanted Peppermint Schnapps. And then Ouzo was big for a minute. Ouzo, everybody drinking shots of Ouzo. And then everybody got sick on that. And then everybody got sick on Peppermint Schnapps. And then they moved along.
What was the cinnamon one? That was Fireball, right?
Yeah, Fireball. It's still holding in there, but I don't think it's as big as it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I think the pandemic put a little slowdown on Fireball. Yep. Now I think a lot of people went to the harder stuff. I think they're going to like Fire Jack, and it's amazing though when you go to the liquor store now on how many like different flavors they make of everything. You go down the Crown Royal aisle.
Oh my goodness!
And there's like 1,500 different Crown Royals. You go down
Apple
the Jack, Apple. I'll tell you, I like that salted caramel. That's really good. You might want to throw a little salted caramel in your with the Jaeger.
Yeah.
With the Jaeger. I'm just giving people ideas here.
You're a bad influence. Terrible.
But those are the kind of things that I like, though. Instead of drinking a beer, it seems like sometimes I just like to give me a shot. I don't really like though, like your traditional like rum and Coke, or I hate to say it, I kind of like the fruity stuff. But fruity meaning a margarita,
right?
Okay.
Everybody know what you mean. No one ever going to challenge your sexuality, my friend.
I don't know about that, but there's people out there. The minute I said fruity, that would want to get in there.
I hear it in my head already.
But yeah, I kind of like that tropical stuff. That it just puts me in a good mood. And like I say, that Captain Morgan 90 proof. Now, not the 20 proof that you could buy everywhere. You got to get the 90 proof, and boy, you mix that with some pineapple juice, and it just goes down so easy. It's like you're not even drinking anything. I got that little picnic jug. You fill that up, and it's like, boy, that's good. And my brother, for some reason, is skeptical on drinking that stuff. Oh, it's I'm going to drink. It's like, I said, just try it. Oh, I have my High Life. Give me a High Life. I'm going to drink a High Life. It's like, okay, have your High Life. But it just seems to me that it just makes so much more sense. You got the ice cubes in there. You dump it down. And then, But anyways, that's me.
Well, my favorite drink is gin martini. And
okay.
They ask me like what top shelf you want, and I don't know any of the names. I mean, I say, pick it out for me. I don't know.
The good stuff. Give me the good stuff.
My acumen's low.
That's like same with tequilas. I mean, you get tequilas out there from like $10 a bottle all the way up to, how do you afford that? Right. Even when you make a margarita, you could start with triple sec, which is probably about $8 a bottle. Then you go up to Cointreau, which might be like $30 a bottle. And then you go up to Grand Marnier, which is about $60 a bottle. So,
right.
And if you really want to make it right, you got to have silver tequila and gold tequila. And boy, I'm getting thirsty here. I don't know if I want to finish my espresso. I think I might want to move on to something else here. Jaybird says that he's got some real moonshine for me to try. Oh boy.
Oh, that'll start off a good day.
Billy Ellison says whiskey aged in Tabasco barrels is the grown-up version of Fireball. How George Dickel and Tabasco made a classier spiced whiskey. Okay. There you go. How about picklebacks? You a fan of picklebacks?
Never had it.
That's like Jameson and pickle juice.
Oh, I don't think I'd like that.
In some ways you don't, but in some ways you do. It's like you drink the shot of Jameson, then you chase it with a little shot of pickle juice.
And it's good?
I like it.
All right.
But I like pickles. I could drink pickle juice right out of the jar. I guess that's a hunky thing. Ukrainians and pickles, that goes together. As a matter of fact, I saw this advertisement for like a high-end Ukrainian vodka that you can't get in the United States yet. Maybe I'll be a distributor of that and turn that into the next Ouzo Fireball.
There you go. Start a trend.
It is. But they say that you're supposed to drink a shot of that and eat a pickle.
I'm gonna have to try that. I'll bring in some Grey Goose and some plastic pickles, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So you'd think if you do tequila with salt and lime.
I've never drank tequila, not one time.
You've never drank
not
tequila,
not a single time.
Okay, now see, tequila borders on that Jagermeister do goofy shit. Realm. But it's amazing with tequila. There's some that is just so smooth, and there's some that you drink it and you're like, ooh, ow. You start yelling stuff in like Mexican.
I'll stick to rum. I'm kind of with you, the fruitier and the more tropical tasting.
But, shots of Jack, I'm there. Shots of Crown, I'm there. It all depends, Cheers. Yeah, we got to get a sponsor for a booze place. Hey, speaking of sponsors,
yes.
Why don't you, we need some sponsors here.
Yeah,
Help us out. Now explain that,
We have
Joe.
a couple girls that are going to be coming on that are going to do full-time ad sales for the studio. And so we're going to get, a lot of you expressed interest in supporting our programming. And some of you just want to buy ad space to run commercials during these shows. So we're going to line that up, put a pricing deck together, and our girls are going to go around to the companies and see if we can get people to help support the shows.
Sounds good. And you can find all the information on that at youngstownstudio.com.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And we had on social, we began monetizing the programming as well. So we had a couple guys, Ron earlier in the program, he sent in some sponsorship. Marcus, he sent in some sponsorship dollars here. So our viewers are supporting our program individually.
It's like your listener supported public radio.
There it is. Right.
Okay. We're like the Summit or NPR, and we'll do a big week. We should have did fundraising last week when we had the 3 big shows there with Jerry and Trafficani and Thomas John.
Freddie's answering the phones.
Standing by.
Support this programming.
Yeah. I need to buy Jaeger. Support this show so I can buy more Jaeger, folks. So I can buy that expensive tequila. Support this show so when I make a margarita, I could use Grand Marnier instead of De Kuyper.
What do you want to bet that would work better than my pitch?
That's all I want to do. I want to buy booze, good stuff. Don't make me.
This poor host is drinking off-brand vodka. We need to get him the real stuff for $2 a day.
Do you want Fast Freddie to mix his margaritas with plain triple sec, or do you want him to enjoy Grand Marnier top shelf? Do you want him to buy a bottle of Jose Cuervo Silver, or would you like him to have an expensive bottle of Patron?
Absolutely.
Help Fast Freddie with his margaritas.
You appeal to everybody's emotions, right?
Exactly. And it's not, that's one thing that I always see people say, I don't give money to homeless people because they're going to go out and buy booze. It's like, hell yes, they're going to go buy booze. That's why I give them money. You're homeless. You're feeling bad. You're down. Go buy a drink. Go buy a beer, buddy. Go buy a bottle of, well, not Grand Marnier, but we're not going to get you into Grand Marnier, but I'm sure for $7-8 you can get a bottle of something, and
a little barefoot.
Yeah, we'll get you something out there. But yeah, that's what we got to do. Let's see what else we have here. A man was killed by a rooster with a blade tied to its leg during an illegal cockfight in southern India. The incident brought focus on the practice that continues in some Indians. This is just so sick. I'm glad the guy got stabbed by the rooster.
Yes.
Finally, the rooster won. Good for the rooster. Police say the rooster, with a 3-inch knife tied to its leg, fluttered in panic and slashed 45-year-old owner in the groin.
Yeah.
It got him in the nads. It shot his nads off. A cock. I guess it really was a cockfight then, right?
Yep.
And the cock with the knife won.
The cock wins.
And the other guy lost his.
Yep.
See, now when I think of cockfights, I was thinking of little boxing gloves on it, but I didn't know I had to put a knife on it. I didn't know
I thought they all had their own stuff.
I didn't want to put a knife down there if I'm in a cockfight and that turned into a sword fight.
I see where you went there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I missed it. Sorry, that went right over my head.
Yeah, really. I had to go to the gutter on that one. I mean, come on. People that hurt animals like that are assholes. You deserve to get your cock cut off in a cockfight by a cock.
Yep.
Cock. All right, what else we have here? A Scottish woman bit off part of a man's tongue in a wild street brawl, and a seagull promptly swooped down and gobbled it up. She kissed him on the lips during the fight, and she bit off a piece of his tongue. After she spat out the bloody chunk of meat, a bird picked it up off the ground and ate it.
Kissing during a street fight? I'm not painting this whole picture.
I'm not sure what was going on there. When asked about the incident, the guy said,
well done.
Oh, man. Here's another one, man. Another crazy story. And you would think that this would have happened in Florida, but it didn't. A Spanish rapper is accused of hacking off his roommate's penis with a 12-inch kitchen knife as part of a gruesome attempt to get attention on social media.
What are we doing? My goodness.
Okay. Aaron Beltran made a deal with Andrew Breach, an Oxford-educated British teacher, to amputate his manhood, with Breach agreeing to pay a fee depending on how many times the video was shared on YouTube.
Are you shitting me?
The payout ranged from about $240 to $3,000. Beltran now faces 4.5 years behind bars if convicted of carrying out the grisly act against the man in Spain. One afternoon, the men met at the victim's bedroom. Andrew tied his pajama cord around the bottom of his penis to avoid hemorrhaging. The accused, who sat on a chair in front of him, cut off his penis with a 12-inch kitchen knife, which was never found because the accused got rid of it. A police officer told the court that they found the man, 35, who taught at a local academy, bleeding heavily from the groin. A police officer told the court that he found Breach, who also taught at a language academy. So they find the guy bleeding. The teacher was bleeding. When interviewing the victim at the hospital, he told the accused cut off his penis. He said that he didn't feel 100% a man and wanted to get rid of his penis. So he agreed to have the guy chop it off for a fee, and then they were going to split the money on all the hits that they got on YouTube.
My goodness. Somebody asked me the other day, for 35 grand, would you give up a nut? So there's a question. For 35 grand,
yeah,
so as long as it's surgical,
yeah. Especially I'm getting old, Maybe I need another one. Maybe I need a third one.
Kelly Blue Book says 35 grand is good.
35 grand for a nut, huh? I have to think about that. But that's
I'm kind of wondering how they did on hits, but it doesn't sound like they got very far in the process.
Probably not. And I'm sure that would get taken down. I mean, look at us. One day we played like a 20-second clip of Davy and Goliath, and we got shut down. And these guys are chopping off other guys' junk and stuff to make some money. Hey, there's an idea. What? I bet if I cut your dick off and we put it on YouTube and everybody watches it,
we'll make a bunch of money.
What do you think? And you don't feel like a man anyway, so what the hell?
No win, no lose. This sounds like the table of good ideas was the origin, is it?
Yes. Yeah, there was some drinking involved in that. I'm kind of thinking Jagermeister. when things like that happen, that's a lot of Jagermeister must have went into the filming of this.
He said yes. I can't believe someone would go along with that.
Oh, okay. What do you think? How much you think we can make? I don't know, maybe $3 grand. Oh shit, $3 grand! Yeah,
Boom, get the knife.
would have been even funnier if the camera wasn't on, or they thought they had it on video and they just took a still picture. They go to post this like, hey, something's not working here.
And what do you tell the hospital when you show up? You can't tell that story. You got to make something up, like a seagull dipped in down and took a chunk, or what?
Unreal. That's just crazy stuff going on out there. Crazy stuff going on out there. I don't know, man. I think we've covered everything today. Park burlesque, cockfighting,
left end,
Boots Bell. We mentioned Boots as always. We talked about Rush and how they got their start in Northeast Ohio and played at the Tomorrow Club. Another thing you want to talk about, the Tomorrow Club. All right, we have the guy that cut off the penis.
Right.
The woman that bit off a guy's tongue and it was eaten by a seagull. Let's see. I think we may have covered everything. The rocket ship. We had our science and technology segment about the no gas stations in California and the rocket blowing up again.
Yes.
Back to the drawing board. It's almost like a cartoon because, and then these guys are actually going back to the drawing board. Right. And then you can see them going there with that big thing with all these formulas written there.
But I don't understand. Like the other one's already built. That one isn't even finished blowing up yet. And the other one's on there. I'm like, how's that one going to be fixed?
Well, they tweak it a little bit. They go in there.
There's much more than a wrench turn. I'm sure.
You're sure it's not a guy with a Phillips head going in there and going, all right, let's see.
That should do it.
Turn that one back a half a turn. We'll turn that back a half a turn, and this should get us on Mars right here.
It was 89 octane. That was the problem. Hey, when you start saying some of the magical terms around here, I'm going to start giving you the harp sound. So when you do left end,
yeah, there we go.
When you do
right.
Tomorrow Club,
Boots Bell.
This is magical now.
Tomorrow Club. Hot day at Idora Park. Yeah, we're going to have to add that to the show from now on.
Absolutely.
Certain subjects that are a must on this show, we'll have that. Let's see here. A couple more questions. Queen Bitch wants to know where the bike nights are headed since Quaker was sold. Actually, we are going to be at Quaker. The bike nights are going to be going.
So they're going to operate as Quaker, no changes. They're going to do their thing still?
Yeah, and actually, I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be better from what I hear.
Awesome.
I really can't say
Love
that. Oh, okay. Yeah, John wants to know about my Mr. T starter kit. Hey, I pity the fool. I pity the fool that asked me about my Mr. T starter kit. I'm just getting up enough nerve to get a mohawk. That's my next thing there, John. I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh, yeah.
And Jim Davidson was talking about Rush. They also played at Chanel High School in Bedford back in the day. James Gang played there too. Yeah, that's, you think about these bands. James Gang is another one. I mean, I think they played at Warren Western Reserve Prom one year. That's
crazy.
Back in 1968, 69, you look back at some of their old itineraries that you could find online. It's amazing where some of these bands played. I mean, could you imagine today having Joe Walsh?
It's crazy. Now, who do you think the biggest cover band to do Youngstown that was what had a long track record and was appearing just every Friday night?
Well, that would probably be Left End.
Left End?
Left End was probably one. Menagerie was really big at one point in time. But like we talked about on this show, back in those days, there was a ton of bands that were playing every night. So there was a whole list of bands, Coconut, and that would just be playing night after night after night, 6 nights a week. Some of these bands play 7 nights a week.
Dang.
They'd play these teen dances, which were really big, and then they'd be playing the bars, and it was just crazy. These guys, for young guys, if you had a really good band, you were making some serious dough back in the day, because all the places were packed. You'd do a teen dance and have a couple thousand people there. if you're playing for the door there or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, they were able to make some big money.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who we forgot to talk about today? John Candy. That's who else we want to talk about. And I think today is either his birthday or the anniversary of his passing away. John Candy. I love John Candy. You know, there's the rocket, the failed rocket. But they're getting better.
They are.
Just keep shooting them off. Yeah, John Candy died
March
on this
4th,
date in 1994. I thought that guy was just so funny, and he just came across as such a nice guy. When you see John Candy, he looked like a kind of guy you would just want to hang out with.
Right.
It'd be like, you know, unless you were Steve Martin and you had to travel with him, then you wouldn't want to do that. But you know, Stripes was a funny one. Even in National Lampoon's, Vacation, National Lampoon Vacation, which could be the Danier family as you guys head out west, heading to Wally World. Just when he comes out and said, you know, the park is closed.
The moose should have told you.
Just you put him in that one scene, and he makes the whole movie practically. It stands out. You remember that. It's like in Blues Brothers. Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip, 3 orange whips.
Yep.
You know, he just comes out and says something like that. Just the way he looks. And it's like, you know, you remember that out of that whole movie. You remember John Candy with the orange whip, or Home Alone when he does, when he's, what the heck was his name?
The
Gus.
polka.
Yeah. Speaking of Gus the Bus. Yeah. Gus, what the heck was his name? Gus the Polka King from Kenosha, Wisconsin. From the Kenosha Kickers. And, and remember we had a song that was kind of regional hit, Polka, Polka, Polka. I mean, he's just in that scene from he was in that movie for like 2 minutes, and you're sitting there and you just think, boy, that guy's funny.
Heck yeah.
He'd steal the scene. And I know a lot of people liked Uncle Buck. That was a real good movie. And Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. Of course, you put Richard Pryor in a movie, you're going to have something good. Stripes with Bill Murray. That was another funny one. I'm trying to think here. Those are the only ones I can remember. He was in, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We mentioned that one.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Uncle Buck. There's a lot of other ones he was in. I didn't even know, but maybe I'll go rediscover some. Cool Runnings. That was another one he was in there. I'm trying to think.
Great Outdoors.
Oh, he was in Little Shop of Horrors too. Okay. Summer Rental. That was a pretty funny one. Summer Rentals. But National Lampoon Vacation.
Right.
The moose should have told you. He just comes out there and he just steals the whole scene.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, those bigger funny guys like Chris Farley. And, you know, I just had an affinity for those guys.
Chris Farley, he was a trip, boy. You see him on some of those TV shows, if he would be on like with Letterman or some of these late night shows, and he would just go berserk. The guy was just like, how do you get so fired? Well, probably a lot of cocaine, I think.
That's it.
Cocaine, that's what did it to him. But
a van down by the river,
and we liked it. When he would come in there as the motivational speaker, he was just so intense. That was just funny stuff.
Always crashing the table.
Pulling the pants off.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's some good stuff there. Rookie of the Year. He was in Rookie of the Year. He's an announcer in that one. I have to look up some of the other ones that I've never heard of, career opportunities, but some of them I think he just plays those little bit parts and
just
he's in and out. Volunteers, TV shows. What TV shows was he in? The Last Polka.
A real Last Polka. See, he wasn't dicking around. He was actually in it. Candy, Dave Thomas, Hostage Day.
The Rocket Boy. What's that one about? That might be your movie.
Maybe.
You'll have to check that one out.
Well, he was the Hawk in that, so he's got to be the hero with a name like the Hawk.
The Hawk.
Music videos was in Ghostbusters. I don't remember him in Ghostbusters.
Oh, and he was in the Traveling Wilburys, the Wilbury Twist. I didn't even realize that. I'll have to look that one up. So there you go. In honor of the passing of John Candy on this date, 1994, look something up from him.
That's right.
Check something out. All right, you ready to wrap this thing up? You know what? Let me down the hatch on my espresso. And now that I'm all wired up and I just want to keep talking, speaking of cocaine, you know, so let me
That's why you need the Jaeger to bring you back down a little bit.
Oh, okay. Billy Barth wants to know, were you around when Donnie Iris played at the Tomb with the Jaggers on Rayan Avenue? I was a little too young for that, but I do remember. And I do remember when the Jaggers played at the Apartment. Freak Out. They used to play there all the time in Lothian Boulevard. Oh, I mentioned the Apartment. Thank you. Got to get that. That's something we have to mention on every show. It's kind of crazy with Donnie Iris because Donnie Iris was in the Jaggers, and they were kind of a one-hit wonder with the rapper, and then he was in Wild Cherry towards the end. He wasn't like the original when they come out with play that funky music, right. But so that's another, like you would probably say, one-hit wonder band. And then some people from not around here would consider him a one-hit wonder with Donnie Iris and the Cruisers with Aaliyah, but of course they had Love Is Like a Rock and a ton of other songs too. But he's had a pretty interesting career. I think Donnie is 80 now. That guy's been around forever, and he still rocks the house. The last show we did down here at the amphitheater, I mean, this guy still has one of the best screams in rock and roll. You could put him up there with Roger Daltrey or anybody else that has a scream. Donnie Iris has that Leah, and I mean, that guy could still get a scream, and he still looks great too. 80 years old, and he still jumps up there on stage and makes it happen and gets it done. So, all right, I think we're done now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's wrap it up. All right. I think we're finished. All right. Well, listen, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will be back on Tuesday, and contact Joe and stuff for advertising. And remind your friends that we're archived on every place that you could think of. YouTube, you can catch it on YouTube. You can check it on the Youngstown Studio webpage, our Facebook page, and every single platform out there that has podcasts. You could find us on there too. Just search Youngstown Studio, and sooner or later you'll find it. It should pop up. All right, thanks, Joe. Another good show, man. Let's wrap it up, and we'll be back Tuesday to throw it down and make it happen. We'll get her done.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us. Thank you.